Hello? 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 Hello?
Let's try it again. No, it's broken now. What the fuck?
You just did this
I just
three
did
times.
this. The intro sucked because technology.
You just did this
I
three
think it
times.
literally just died.
How did that not work?
Uh,
Well, how did this not work? It worked.
it's dead.
It worked three times in a
It
row.
fucking died.
It worked three times in a row.
Okay, so
Try it again. Try it again.
I just tried it like 6 times, dude.
Open it like.
It's dead. It died. Mercury retrograde.
You literally just did
That's
it.
embarrassing.
It literally just worked
That was
twice in a
embarrassing.
row. And as soon as we actually started to do it, it just decided it wasn't going to work. So Mercury, that's what you're saying is in retrograde right now? Because
Actually,
you
I
just
think
tested it.
There's
Like,
7 planets.
you
in
just
retrograde.
tested that 2 seconds
did.
ago.
Nope.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
Wow.
when I first got this, when you
Wow.
opened it, it played the Welcome to Jurassic Park theme.
I'm gonna get it working.
Da do 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 do. Okay, don't break my
I'm not
makeup
gonna break
palette.
it. I'm not gonna break
And
it.
it was like the coolest makeup palette ever, and I wanted to have a moment, and I couldn't. Dude, it's not gonna work. Oh wait, I have an idea.
Oh.
No. Just let it go. Frozen. Let it go. Elsa that shit. It's dead. It died. It's extinct. So long story short, if you're annoyed with the sound happening every time you open your Jurassic
Wait a
Park
week.
makeup palette, for anyone out there who has this, wait a week.
Wait a week and it's just gonna stop working.
I'm just gonna put this away now.
Oh my god, that was about to be the coolest intro thing. That was really funny, and that was an intro gone completely wrong because you just tried it twice and it went perfectly smoothly.
It did. It was wonderful.
Wow, holy moly!
Well, cheers.
Well, cheers. I don't know if that's anything to
Welcome
how this
to
one's
the
gonna
bar.
go. How this one's gonna go, but the intro that we had
Intro
in mind,
sucked.
just completely farted in our face.
It did. I think it's telling us that, I mean, I know we're not in the new year yet, but like,
Wow.
you know, we're working on the second half of this year now.
Wow.
You know, maybe we should reevaluate our intro. Maybe that's what this is telling us.
That felt so real for 2023. Like,
Yeah.
didn't that just feel so
2023
real
was like,
for how
hey,
2023 has been
you
going?
think it's gonna work like this? Nah.
You practice something 2 or 3 times and it just goes good, and then as soon as you go to actually do it, something messes up.
It says nah.
That feels like what 2023's
Says no.
been. Wow, that was interesting. Yep.
I'm gonna change this guy's hands now.
I'm
Be
frozen. I'm totally frozen because that didn't work.
Like, be like, oh, his
I'm
hand's the wrong way.
I'm totally just stuck on that not working. I'm like, did that actually just not work after you did it twice and it was fine? Bizarre. Yes.
Him
Move
saying,
his hands.
I don't know.
Move his hands to a point where he says, "Here, I'm gonna get the bear. I'm gonna get the skateboard to come over there, and he's gonna be on the skateboard."
He's saying, I don't know.
And the skateboard's gonna be upside down.
Okay.
Because now the skateboard just flipped, and he's like, "I don't know what happened. Did he do it? Did he decide that was just not gonna work?"
I don't know, but that was a moment.
Technical difficulties plague us all. Technical difficulties plague us all. How do you recover from technical difficulties?
I don't know. You just do.
You just do.
You just keep.
You
going.
just blow on the cord.
I don't think that's gonna work, and I don't really want to blow in that because I don't want to like poof.
We'll figure it out. We'll get it going again.
It's okay. It's fine. Now I don't have to like think about if I'm gonna wake you up or not.
Oh, every time you open it.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I was gonna use it yesterday.
Interesting.
But
Fair. But the sound would have gone off, and that could have been an interesting thing.
You were still sleeping.
Exactly.
So I didn't.
Thank you. I appreciate that, by the way.
No problem. I didn't want to wake you up.
Well, I appreciate that, by the way. I appreciate
Well,
that. Well, we tried.
That was a
And
moment.
that was an attempt. How do we recover?
Drink wine.
Let's have a moment of silence for the box. How about that? That seems like a fitting thing.
Moment of silence.
Just a pure moment of silence for the box, where we think about it.
Shut up. Now we're back.
Okay.
That was our moment of silence.
That
for the
felt
box.
good. Moment of silence
Okay.
for the box.
All
Kept
right.
it real there. Felt like a good moment that we gave to
All
the
right.
box. We honored its week-long existence
We
and
did.
it working.
Yeah.
But I must say, in that week, you did open and close it a bunch of times.
I did. I
so
got
in all
excited.
honesty, that box had probably been opened 100 times in a week. You know, just for the theme song alone.
And who knows? Maybe it was open before that.
You never know. Could have been a demo.
Oh, was it plastic wrapped? I don't remember now.
Oh.
But in any event, it was the coolest makeup palette I had ever received because you open it and it plays Jurassic Park music, and that is amazeballs.
And the colors in that, since I'm learning more about color palettes and makeup, which is totally out of my element, but I am trying to learn more, is really nice.
It is. It has a really good variety. There's, it's true to the film. I feel like it represents it well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good color selection.
Yeah, the colors are great. You have your blues, your greens, your golds, and then like some interesting shifty colors that are like green golds or like blue purples kind of vibe. And then like the quality of it actually surprised me because it is a Walmart brand.
Ooh, so you never know what you're going to get. But pretty good
But
up
it's
until right
good.
now.
With the exception of the purple, I haven't used very much of the
The
colors
quality
right
of the
now,
actual makeup is decent.
but
It's pretty good.
so far,
It's pretty
the
solid.
purple was okay, but I'm not surprised because purples are notorious for being crap,
Fair.
even in like high-end makeup palettes.
Mm-hmm.
So not too bummed about it. But the blue was good, and blues are also difficult. So yeah, so
That's
far
cool.
so good.
And are you able to use it awesomely with your new haircut? Boo, 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 boo. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
So
This
for those of
one
you
got
that
a
don't
killer
know,
haircut.
I have
Congratulations on your killer haircut.
Thank you.
And thank you to fill in the blank with the name,
Her name is Chloe.
who made your awesome haircut awesome.
And she works at a salon called Alchemy on Lorne.
Yeah!
Which is Amazeballs.
And they do Amazeballs haircuts.
They do, and they are a very independent sort of
haircutting
hair salon.
place.
They're very
Amazeballs cuts.
They're very different from a lot of hair salons I've
Fair,
been to.
fair.
They're, I guess, more hip. I don't know.
Ooh, a hip place.
They're hip, and the woman who runs it is a certified barber, which I don't think I've ever seen a female barber before.
There you go.
It's usually a male thing.
Ooh.
So that's cool, and just alchemy.
It's a cool name.
It's so like science-y, but yet like magical.
It's a pretty cool name.
It's cool, and
It's
I've
a pretty
known
cool name.
Sabrina, the owner, for a very long time.
Yeah.
She used to work for my old hairdresser.
Absolutely.
And then, like most of us who are extremely creative, said, "Fuck this noise! I don't
Yeah.
want to work for somebody." And then she left,
Making your
and
own independent thing.
She did her own thing, and she's
Yeah.
still building on it.
Yeah,
like, she
yeah,
wants
yeah.
to open a whole barber shop upstairs.
Crazy cool. Super
So,
crazy cool.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutly. I mean, that's one of those things that you
It had
just
been
kind
7
of.
months, which is an eternity. Most women will color.
What's that a new? Oh, sorry. Finish that.
It's okay. Most women, or I shouldn't say women. Most people who color their hair will color it every 4 to 6 weeks. I waited 7 months.
Whoa.
Right? February, March, April, May,
Whoa.
June, July, August, and we're in September. So about
Fair.
7 months.
So 7 months to do a new color in your hair, which is a long time.
And a haircut.
Is that a record? Do you think you broke
That's a record for me.
You broke your longest streak record just based on you didn't really know exactly what you wanted to do, but you came back, and I think this is the best cut
I think so.
and best color that you've
And it's
ever had in your
flat
life.
now.
I'm going to say in your life that is the best cut and best color that I think you've ever
think
had
so.
so far out of
Yep.
all the different cuts and colors.
Yep.
This one seems to be the best.
Yep.
And the way your makeup is right now matches that shit crazy.
It's I'm learning what my color palette is.
Is that from the Jurassic Park one?
This?
Did you do that?
No.
Okay, fair.
No,
fair,
this
fair.
is from The Shining. I would call it that.
Oh,
well, it's called the
that's
Creepy
cool.
Twins palette.
Yeah,
but
okay,
it's
okay.
all,
Fair,
like,
fair,
from
fair.
The Shining.
Oh,
It's
okay,
just
okay, cool, cool.
Yeah, so-
But that is the best like combo I think with the makeup in the hair that you've had
Well,
in
you.
a little bit. So nailed that combo.
Thanks.
Nailed that combo.
Yeah, it was mostly I knew because I got my hair done in February, and then I knew by like I think end March or beginning of April that I was going to be going on my trip.
Totally.
And I didn't want the sun to bleach out my color because that's just a waste of time and money for everybody.
Exactly, stupid.
So I waited. And then my hairdresser was gone on vacation, so I had to wait even longer because she's amazing.
Yeah, for
And I
sure.
will wait.
That's cool. And September's like this kind of month where you're kind of learning stuff and you're trying to figure things out, and it feels like you kind of like learned about how messy you can leave your hair in order to kind of dial it into like what it is right now. I think you had to get it to a certain level of messy that you've never had it before in order to dial it into what it is right now. You like learned how to like just let it go kind of crazy, and then you were just like, you know what, I'm just gonna dial it in.
I had to go to the bottom of the barrel.
Sometimes you have to hit that pure messiness. I think that's a good thing to like point out, is sometimes you have to hit the sheer level of messiness to be like, I gotta like fix this, you know. And you can apply that to all kinds of stuff, your hair, just comfy pants, leaving the dishes for too long. It's just like sometimes you just have to hit messy, and especially for artists, like sometimes we just leave everything get too messy before we're just like, let's change this or let's fix this. But without the messy, you don't have the creative breakthroughs. So I think that's important to note too.
Yeah, and it's like, you have your sketching stage, right? Which is like your messy stage as an artist. Like that's where you work out all the fluff that's in your head.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then you eventually get to your final stage, which is like, you have everything dialed in and refined. So
yeah, and that's why you hear a lot like stages of ugly, right? It's like
I think we've talked about that before.
You don't get to the end thing without the stages of ugly, right? The creative mess and stuff that you have to go through to get that little end thing that looks decent. Could be 7 months worth of messy hair to get to this beautiful cut that you're at today, right? But it's true though, right? So now you have it just the way that you like it.
Like it made the rest of the people in the salon stop.
Yeah.
And stare at it.
Oh.
Because of just the way the colors blended.
Nice.
And it was like my hairdresser's adorable. Like this just goes to show the type of person that she is. So everyone's complimenting her, right? Because obviously she did it.
Yeah.
But her just being the humble human being that she is was like, no, this wasn't me. This was all her. She came in with her fucking shitty little artwork that I scribbled on my phone on the way there.
Yeah.
And she showed that to me, and that's what made this happen.
Nice.
And I was
just
like,
that from that small little thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
I found a picture of some random shit on Google of like the greenish sort of blend into yellow and stuff, like a couple of shades of green or whatever.
Totally.
And I was like, it's not quite right. So then I open it on my shitty photo editing app and start like scribbling random colors on it.
Tweaking some streaks in there?
Yeah.
Tweaking some streaks in there?
Yeah, and I'm like, I want this blue and like the black in my hair, I want it to have like a blue tint to it.
Yeah. I think that's the cool thing now about some of the technology stuff that we have is you can see what something's going to look like before you actually change the color of it. You can do that with rooms. You can do that with different spaces. Just take a picture of something and you can just digitally kind of see what it's going to look like before you actually do it, which is pretty neat.
It's
like
neat.
The whole ability to do that now is pretty sweet. So it's kind of cool that you can kind of have an idea of what something's going to look like or feel like before you go ahead and commit to it.
Yeah.
Does it still make it like a little bit scary when you're putting color in your hair to like be like, is this going to come out the exact way that I want it? Is there a little bit of kind of hesitation, or do you just go for it and then whatever happens happens?
I used to have hesitation, but now I feel like I understand color theory really well. Fair. What happens with hair dye and how the two sort of color theory and then paint and hair dye mesh together.
Because I don't think I've ever seen you as happy as the hair color that you have
No,
right now.
it
like
turned out 100%
when you
what I
when
saw
you
in my
came
head.
home, like when you come home, sometimes with the hair dye, it's close or maybe it's not 100% what you had in mind. But this one, you came home, and you're like, this is 100% like exactly what
Like,
I
I
had
could
in mind.
show you the
Like you
shitty
and you
sketch
were
on my
just so
phone.
happy about it,
Yeah.
and the fact that it came out so perfect was just like you were just like beside yourself of how awesome it looked, and you're just like, this is exactly what I wanted.
And you know what's funny is part of that is me getting more comfortable with my voice and
Okay.
expressing my opinion.
Okay.
And I think this is a really good life lesson, I think, in any area of your life.
Fair.
So initially, like, especially with the blue, I'll just stick to the blue color.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, we have this particular shade from this particular brand. She was like, when you first put it on, it looks purple.
Yeah.
But then as it dries and gets washed out, it looks blue because
Okay.
it's really cool toned.
Yeah.
So I said, can I see it?
Sure.
And so she put it on like a swatch for me, and I said no.
No?
Yeah, I was like, that's not the blue. And then I found...
Was it a swatch or a swatchsticka?
It was just a swatch.
It wasn't a swatchsticka?
No.
That's why you said no? You're like, I don't want the swatchsticka.
I
don't want the swatchsticka? No swatchsticka.
swatchsticka.
No swatchsticka, just the swatch, but no swatchsticka.
And this continues.
Take out the sticka and we might have something.
So this continues.
Take out the sticka.
So, yeah, I was like, okay, this is the type of blue I want. It's actually more warm, and it's more on the green side than on the purple side.
Oh, interesting.
And so she found another color and showed me the box or whatever, and I said, yeah, like, that's the blue. And then she was like, okay, I'll put some black in it to kind of like amp it up a little bit. I'm like, no, don't put black in it because it's going to dull the color.
Oh.
So I had to say no twice.
Just to get it dialed in to exactly the way. Because you didn't want it to be darkened.
No, I wanted it to be that vibrant, deep, true blue.
Like it is.
Like it is.
And it looks ballin' and awesome.
Yeah, I'm like, fucking squirt it on my head right out of the tube. Like,
just do whatever.
Just nothing.
Just do whatever. Just leave it like that. Just leave it like that.
And then even with the green, I was like, it's not quite punchy. Like, it needed more depth. And so I think I inspired her almost to, like, mix a couple things. Because then with the green and the yellow, she played with it a little bit.
Fair. And you know what's funny? Without even thinking about it, we went with blue and green for the lighting colors, because you probably look at you thought about that. Maybe that's interesting.
Presentation.
Yeah. And then we had a train wreck start to this one. The technology decided it wasn't going to pan out.
It was a train wreck.
Oh well, what can you do? But that turned out beautifully, and I love it.
It's a little flat, but that's because I slept on it. But that's okay.
Fair.
It's still cute.
Yeah.
She's still cute.
So, is this position a cute position to draw, or is this like a hard one? Like for when you're doing life drawing, is this like easy or is this hard? Because we were talking about this a little bit earlier today. And we're trying to figure out with life drawing what's easier and what's harder to draw.
This is a little trickier than it looks like.
So is that easy or is that hard to draw for you?
It's tricky. Like, it looks initially, like when you first look at it.
Yeah.
It looks
because the arms
easy,
are like this.
At first, I keep smacking this, so I hope I'm not like.
Yeah, you'll probably hear some knocks.
It looks very straight on, but it's not actually. It has like a couple little tilts to it.
The arms are tilty?
One arm's down a little bit more than the other, but it's also like the hips aren't straightforward. They're slightly twisted. Not full 3/4, but slightly.
Okay.
And then the legs are bent backwards. So drawing stuff like that's not on the same plane.
Yeah, it can be a little tricky.
At least it's not foreshortening. Foreshortening is awful. Like if I were to like take the dude's foot and put it like this.
Yeah, okay.
And then you were to try
because
and draw
then it's further out and then further.
Well, from their point of view.
from their point of view,
like from
but from the back.
Like
yeah, okay. That's harder to do because you have to do
foreshortening.
the depth and stuff.
That's what it's called.
The
when
foreshortening.
it's not like extended like this.
Yeah.
It looks stumpier.
Fair. So a position where the legs are out harder is tougher to do than when it's downwards because it's on the same plane, right?
Yeah.
And anytime you're changing like the Z plane, because you have the X, Y, Z, you're doing the 3D planes, it can be a little bit trickier to draw that, absolutely. And to map it out, to get it all drawn out the way that you like it. Do you have any tips if you're doing kind of like harder foreshortening of the best ways to draw it? Because I agree with you 100% on how hard that is to draw when legs are out like that or kind of downwards. This thing is really neat though to use as like a demo in a positioning thing to draw. I find this thing is really interesting to use and to try different poses with to draw. It's really neat.
Yeah, it is. So my advice is always draw what you see, not what you think you see. So our brains are tricky and they have this pre-programmed idea of what shit looks like.
So draw what you see, not what you think you see.
Yeah, so if you're looking at something like this, you draw the shapes that you see. You like avoid thinking, okay, I'm drawing a leg and a foot. Mm-hmm. Because if you start thinking I'm drawing a leg and a foot, your mind already has an idea of what a leg and a foot looks like.
Yeah.
So your drawing is going to be off from what you're drawing from.
Oh.
So
because it's trying to trick you into thinking that you already know.
Exactly.
Which we always do. We think we just already know everything.
Exactly. So just draw like, okay, this thing looks like an almond. So I'll draw it like this. This thing is like a blob.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I do. And don't be afraid to draw on top of things.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I think often artists, and I was guilty of this for years. I had to break this habit, and I still struggle with it.
Yeah.
A lot of artists will draw the outline of something. So, like, if you're drawing an extended foot with a leg, like, they'll try and draw it like this. Instead of drawing it like this.
Okay, explain the differences in those hand movements.
Okay, so...
I know it might be a little difficult.
Okay.
So you're trying to say, I think with your hand movements, did you do one more boxy and one more flowy? Is that kind of what you did?
So, not really.
Okay, that's not what you did.
Okay, so let's say you're drawing this.
Mm-hmm.
So, what most of us would do is draw the outline.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And then shade it in however you want.
Yeah.
What you should actually do is draw through your thing. Oh. So you're drawing this and this.
Yeah. You don't just draw the outline.
No,
and you actually taught me that too, because I used to be one of those draw the outline people. But you're actually drawing through it in a sense that you're not just drawing the outline and then kind of trying to fill it in.
Because you have to remember there's something behind that thing that you're drawing. So draw the thing behind the thing.
Yep.
And then as you're refining it, get rid of the things that you can't actually see. Mm-hmm. But draw it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And do a few different versions. Do a few different versions is what I find. Because if you do one like quickly and then you take a bit more time on your next one, there's a lot of times where the one that you do quicker turns out better than the one that you do slower.
Sometimes.
Because I think, for me personally, just with drawing shit, if I try to draw too precisely, I start to, like, overthink my drawing.
Stiff.
Yeah, dude.
Two things happen when you do that. You get stiff, so your drawings lose that dynamic.
They don't have as much cool flow. Like, they're not as fun.
Exactly.
They're not as fun.
And you also tend to draw smaller.
Oh, no shit.
If you are uncomfortable, you'll notice that your drawings are smaller than when you're comfortable. So when you're doing your sketching, force yourself to draw nice and big.
Bigger sketches.
Draw with this.
Bigger sketches.
As opposed to this or this.
You
want to draw from your shoulder.
Draw with your shoulder. Stop trying to do...
Which is why my right shoulder
Stop trying to do too much wrist stuff. Get rid of your wrist stuff. You're going to cramp your wrists. You're going to get carpal tunnel if you're just doing this.
You know, because I'm also...
Stay loose. Stay loose out there.
Because I'm also a scientist,
Keep your shoulder loose. Keep your shoulder loose.
If you look at your wrist joint and your elbow joint, they have restricted movement, right? Like, you can't move your wrist anymore like this.
No.
Because you have restricted
it can only go
movement,
so far.
Right? Whereas your shoulder, because it's a ball and
pop
socket,
that. You can go
in any direction
all
with
over
that
the
thing.
place. So when you're drawing, use your shoulder more, and you could be surprised how much more movement you get than just trying to move your wrist doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Get your whole arm in there.
Get everything.
Just
in there.
get your body into it.
That was something
get
else
your body into it.
I never used to do, and I was taught this. Is like make noises and shit. Like,
yeah, pretend you're a tennis player. Just, yeah.
Like if you're
just swat that ball while you're drawing. You know, just pretend your pencil's that tennis ball and be a tennis player.
Like
and
if
just yell.
you're drawing, say like a tennis player hitting a ball, like go huzzah when you're like drawing the racket.
Exactly. Swing that shit.
It brings life.
Swing that
to
shit.
Your drawing.
Swing into your drawing.
Swing into your drawing.
Swing into your drawing.
And never start drawing your main thing first. Drawing is a sport. A lot of people do not know this, but drawing is a sport. Yeah. It's athletic.
It is athletic.
If you're doing it well, it's athletic.
It is. You
so
gotta stay loose and swing into it.
So like, even if you're just doing things like standing there doing wrist rolls, like
shoulder rolls, wrist rolls.
Like I like to do it on a paper.
Don't walk into drawing stiff. Loosen up. Loosen up. Stay loose. You gotta stay loose.
You gotta stay loose.
Stay loose. And I think that applies for a lot of things.
I think so too.
A lot of times if you go into something stiff or unsure, your result's going to be wacky. But if you go into something loose, it's usually going to pan out a little bit better. That applies to a lot of things.
And then you can draw cool shit like this.
Maybe not lighting a blowtorch, but...
yeah.
We won't go into that.
I actually forgot about this comic book until we started talking about what we were going to talk about today. So I guess, long story short, this little dude comes from a little kit that I got him for Christmas.
Super kit. Yeah, super cool kit.
About
drawing kit.
Yeah, it's a drawing kit about drawing mangas.
Yeah.
And so it made me think of this little comic thing, which is super creative and cool. I got this from a friend because she was like, hey, you'll dig this? And I was like, okay, cool. And I don't know if it's like the first edition of this series. I don't think so, because it seems to start in a really weird spot. But it's called Manifest Destiny. And it is featuring this team of explorers.
Okay.
Lewis and Clark. Not to be confused with Lois and Clark.
Oh, you almost got me.
I know.
You almost got me. I think I did.
It's not Superman.
I think I did the confusion in my head.
It's not Superman. So Lewis and Clark.
Not Lois and Clark, but Lewis and Clark.
Lewis. So
Lewis
they were two explorers that basically explored the Midwestern United States before we knew what it looked like, and documented all of the landscape and wildlife and all kinds of shit that are there.
Super cool.
But this is more on the horror side of things. So it's as if the crew went to discover Midwestern America, but encountered zombies and shit.
What?
And like the undead.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty wicked cool.
You know what? I don't even know if I've checked that one out yet. I feel like I haven't. I feel like I haven't checked this one out yet.
It's pretty cool. Here, I'll show this to you first.
Oh my god. Why haven't I checked this one out yet?
So, if you start...
I'm going to read this one later.
For you drawing artist people out there, if you start drawing the way that I'm talking about, you can draw things like this. If you draw stiff, you're not going to have dynamic poses like in this beautiful, awesome comic book.
That's some amazing loose drawing, and I also think that that's beautiful.
Isn't it?
That's
gorgeous.
A really gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
That's a really gorgeous comic that I am ashamed that I haven't read yet.
Well, I don't think
there's a lot. You know, comics are
just
one of those
things. Just don't get shit on it because I actually have
Yeah.
the sleeve for it.
Yeah. No, comics are one of those things that there are so many beautiful, talented artists out there. And this one is Manifest Destiny.
And they do not get the recognition that they
No,
deserve.
I completely agree with you.
I'm
There's
totally guilty
so
of that
much
for
talent
years.
in the world of comics that it's unbelievable. These amazing artists that draw these comics and create, beautiful pieces of art and comic strips for people to appreciate and enjoy. You can spend so much time of your life reading and appreciating comics that, there's so many out there. You would be surprised that you haven't even read a small percentage of the amount of comics that people have output.
Never let anyone tell you that comic book reading is a waste of time.
Dude, it's the complete opposite.
I know.
The complete
I know that now.
opposite.
Know that now.
Comic book reading stimulates your imagination. It makes you want to do your own thing. It alleviates all kinds of strangeness because you're just in the comic book itself and you're enjoying a beautiful story that somebody else laid out
And
for
there's
you.
so much to it, you know, like you have your illustrations, you have your colors, you have your story.
Exactly.
You have like your writing bubbles.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
cool.
And whether you're an artist drawing inspiration to create your own or just a person that enjoys comic books, there is so much for everyone.
Yeah,
in
and maybe
books.
you're like a writer instead of an artist.
That's it.
Reach out to another artist with your idea for a story. Work with somebody.
Work
collaborate.
with somebody. You can be a writer.
I mean, there's
You
not
can
only
be-
one
I
person
think-
that made this.
I think a lot of writers get intimidated to reach out.
Well, they're introverted people usually.
Yes, I completely can understand that. A lot of introversion in writing, but a lot of times there might be a bit of I don't want to reach out with this story, or I don't want to look for someone to draw this for me. But put your story out there if you're writing, and be like, maybe there's a comic book person that can draw all this, but doesn't necessarily want to write, and they would rather just draw it all out than write the story. There's a lot of talented artists and people that can draw that are super happy to just draw someone else's story because they don't have to sit there and think of the story, because that's a lot of brain power to create a story.
Well, sometimes-
so putting two people together, and the writer and the drawer, and it just melds into beautiful things. You don't feel like you have to do everything yourself.
No, it's true. And sometimes, as an artist, we see the visuals, but we don't necessarily see the words.
Yeah.
Whereas true writers see the words the same way that an artist sees a visual,
That's true.
which is weird.
Yeah.
And like, I did writing for a while. I was a creative writer for like
Yeah. Totally.
the entire of high school.
Yeah, totally.
I kind of got out of it, but I'll
You
get
have
back
a lot
there.
of stories.
I'll get back there.
Yeah, you've written a lot of stories, yeah.
I never really saw the words. I heard them.
Yeah, totally.
At the risk of sounding like a schizophrenic.
I heard the
heard the words.
I heard all the words.
But people that I've spoken to or books that I've read say that if you're a writer, you see the words.
Fair.
Which is kind of interesting to me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's the best kind of like writer's block thing if you're in or even artist block? I think it's an interesting question. And I ponder this a lot myself because I go in and out of like musician block or creative block. What helps you get out of like a creative block? Like when you're in that time period where you're just like, I don't feel like I can write anything or draw anything right now, and you're just kind of more in like a chill headspace, and you don't necessarily feel like you have a lot of creativity. Like it's not a negative thing, and it happens to everybody. But what's a good way to kind of like get more creative or get yourself out of that kind of creative block? Like what's an activity that you use to kind of maybe get out of some sort of creative funk or like a creative block?
For me,
just for you. What works for you?
I have to leave that space. I have to go somewhere different. Like, it could be sitting in my backyard, or it could be going to a coffee shop. Anywhere. Because if you
just have to change the scene.
You have to change your scene. At least for me as an artist, I think I vibe off of other people and situations a lot. I never realized that before until the zombie virus. But it taught me that.
Fair.
So if I am in a space where I have nothing to feed off of, my little vampire self starves. And that's when I go into that creative
kind of block, like lulls where you just can't write or draw or do anything.
So I used to get really pissed off at myself and just be like, I'm a shitty artist.
It happens.
Yeah,
it happens.
It
We're
does.
all guilty of it.
Absolutely.
Just like, I can't do anything.
My hairdresser told me that yesterday.
I can't do anything. I suck. It's like,
That,
no, Just you might be in a week or a month or something.
Yeah.
It's
Like
all good. It
the
happens.
day before, she said that she
happens.
went home after she did her haircuts that day, and she fucking bawled on her couch because she hated every haircut she did, and thought she was a shitty hairstylist.
That sucks.
It was just one of those days.
But then she comes back and bangs that out, and
Oh
then
yeah,
boom.
I brought her confidence back with this
Boom,
one. So
boom. Gives
we
you
all have
the
those
gives you
days.
the best haircut of your entire life. Like I couldn't believe you've been happy with haircuts before, but I've never seen you this happy with a
I
haircut
love this.
that you have right now. So
Yeah.
there you go, right?
Yep.
So even when like you feel like maybe you're not at your best or your creativity isn't what it can be,
Go for a walk.
just change the scene. Change the scene, you know. I agree.
Don't force, and I used to do this a lot. Do not force yourself to sit down at a desk with your
Yeah.
sketchbook open on a blank page, because you will stare at that blank page and see blank page.
Yeah. Nothing's gonna happen.
Nothing's gonna happen.
It's not gonna change.
No.
Your headspace of creativity isn't going to just happen
that
because you're
being
not
said-
feeling it anyway.
That being said, there is another trick. This works for
Drink
me.
peach juice?
Peach juice. No.
Drink peach juice.
No, then you get spazzy and sugary.
No, that's like energy drink shit.
That too. But and it works for me sometimes.
Guess
but
I was
it's-
thirsty.
I'm almost done. But it's not my like go-to. Anyway, this works for some people. Sometimes you do have to sit down at that blank page and just start drawing
Just draw.
circles.
Yeah, dude. Totally.
Start squibbling,
Totally.
and eventually your creative brain will see something in those scribbles, and you'll start to draw from that. And then
Fair.
eventually that'll snowball into other things.
Yeah. Like, how many times have we told ourselves on a creative project, like, I don't think this is going to pan out, or I don't have any ideas for this, and then we're just kind of like, well, why don't we just draw a few things? And then we start drawing some things. We kind of come up with the idea, and then we loosely kind of figure out how to do it, right? And then a lot of times, if we wouldn't have just wrote down like a few point form things or scribbled a few stuff, we would have had nothing. But because we did that, it led to like something cool.
Yep.
So honestly, yeah, I think changing the scenery and letting yourself do something that's out of what you normally do can unlock a whole other creative thing that you didn't even know about. That's the way I've found it works for me. Like personally, if I'm in a creative block or I can't come up with something, I agree with you to go somewhere else. But I also find that what works is doing something that I've either never done before that completely makes me nervous. I'll probably fail at miserably and I won't be good at. But doing something that I'm not good at, like creatively, like I'm not the best comic book drawer, but trying to do that for me is something different.
Right.
So it unlocks like this other creativity. It just changes what I know what I'm good at and not good at, and everybody kind of knows eventually what they're good at and not good at. But doing the things that you're not good at will ultimately, for me personally, it'll make me come back to the things that I know and I'm good at, and just make me better at those things.
Absolutely.
I don't fully understand how that works.
It's true though.
I don't fully understand how that works, but just doing that shit that I know I suck at. And even though I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to draw a little page or something of a comic, and it's not going to be good, and the drawings aren't going to be great, but I'm going to do it anyway. And when I do that, I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, it's not the best. But then I'm like, I did it. And then I go back to the stuff that I'm better at, and I'm like back in it again. But there's just something about, like, changing the scene, going and doing something that's not the best, maybe out of your comfort zone. What just happened?
Oh my god.
What just happened?
I half yawned.
Did you pop your ear?
And no, my jaw.
You just go.
It did a weird pop grind. It popped and grind. It was like it popped, but it sounded like sand squirted out of it.
That was the nightclub last
was
night.
fucked
That was the
up.
nightclub last night. The pop and grind.
Pop and grind.
The pop and
sand.
grind. Pop and grind.
Mr.
grind.
Sand's pop and grind. That was fucked up. This episode's fucked up.
Did you just go to Burning Man or something? Were you out in the desert dancing? Do you have like a pop and grind in your jaw? Did you just come back from Burning Man? Were you out there dancing?
I'm not gonna do it because I'm gonna get.
Were you dancing in the desert? Were
I'm
you
about-
dancing in the desert?
Okay,
Were you
alright.
dancing in the desert?
Full disclosure.
Were you dancing in the desert?
Dramatic. It was so dramatic. So dramatic. Like, yeah, I'm not saying it would be awesome to be stuck in a muddy field for a couple days, but like, it's not like people were dying and you had to like scoop dead bodies with a shovel and stick them in a mud hole.
It rained.
It fucking rained. You people are camping.
What
happens?
It rained.
Guess what? I've been stuck in the middle of nowhere with the tent, and it's raining too. In mud.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
But you're fine.
I know, but it's so dramatic though.
Oh my god.
It's
these
so
people
dramatic.
are leaving in a mass exodus, and it's taking them half an hour.
It's really wet, and the ground is wet.
It's wet.
We can't get our lowered Lambo out of the desert. What do we do? What do we do? We brought the Lambo into the desert, and now we can't get it out. Oh my god.
I will say though,
the Lambo is not good in mud.
It's probably the news that's blowing us out of proportion. I feel like a lot of people that went to Burning Man are probably mostly okay with this.
My lowered Ferrari doesn't do good in the mud.
If this would have happened at Coachella, it might be a different story.
That's fair.
I feel like a lot of people might have died.
Fair.
Because people that go to Coachella are a little prissy. I said it.
Don't want to get hands dirty in the mud.
Michael Myers is overrated. What else is an unpopular opinion? I'm just going on a roll.
Amanda has like 8 bazillion unpopular opinions.
You know,
I still think unpopular opinions make the world go round. I'm sticking with that.
I agree with you.
I'm sticking with that.
I agree with
It's
you.
the unpopular opinions that make this world go round, man. I don't care what anybody else says. The unpopular opinions change people's minds, sometimes for the better, we hope. But the unpopular opinions literally can change the world, man. And you need more unpopular opinions. You can't have everybody thinking the same popular opinions.
I think
unpopular opinions make the world go around, and they change the world for the better. I stick with that. I stick with that. They can be hard to hear. But they will change shit, and hopefully the whole point of the unpopular opinions is to make something better.
So, I'm going to put a stop button, and we're going to write this down so we don't fucking forget.
Shit, what are we writing down?
For the next bar episode,
okay,
we're going to talk about unpopular opinions.
Oh, are we going to go deep into
Yeah,
unpopular? Are we going to write down like our top list of unpopular opinions?
I think so. You just gave me an idea.
And are we going to apologize in advance?
We're
I feel like we should.
apologize in advance.
I feel like we should apologize in advance. I feel like I have unpopular opinions that I don't want to apologize for, but I understand people that don't like some of my.
A lot of people say
I understand people that don't like some of my unpopular opinions, and I don't apologize for them, but I stand by them. But I can completely understand some people don't like my unpopular opinions, and that's fine. That's
we
cool.
are warning you now. We might piss you off.
We do have some strong unpopular opinions. We've been told many times that we have some opinions that are not very favorable. But it's okay. It's fine. We're working out the kinks.
We'll make sure to put
We're working out the kinks.
At the beginning.
We're working out some kinks in our unpopular opinions.
We're going to put a warning at the beginning of the
We
next
need
episode.
to tag some warnings before we throw something unpopular
Every
out there.
multiple warning out there.
All right, here's about a ton of unpopular opinions and warning and cut and scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we'll come in with a warning. We'll say this next one is going to be about all of our unpopular opinions, and we'll start it with a warning, and then that way we'll throw them in with this like unpopular opinion bunny like running across. Yeah, exactly, right. And then we'll dive into some unpopular opinions.
All right, I'm down.
Because I think that's a good idea. Are you getting a little fatigued? Oh, and you're out of wine.
Okay, so long story short, this last week and a half at least has been like Energize a bunny nonstop.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I'm my little pooch.
Don't forget to put your shoulder into your life.
Put your shoulder
Make
in your
some
life.
noise into your drawings. If you're alone or if you're in a group or if you're at a coffee shop.
Hello!
If you're at a coffee shop and you're drawing at a coffee shop, just start grunting. Ah!
Do it.
People will be like, what's wrong with that one? Just be like, I'm drawing, man. I'm drawing. And then you're just, and you're like grunting at your drawings because you're pretending that you're playing tennis while you're drawing.
Grunt.
Get some life into that shit. Get some life into that shit.
The moral of this episode is grunt.
Put some life into your life, man. Put some life into your life. Peace, everyone.